If you've ever wondered how to spot a Fuji user, go to your local record store and look for the man in checkered plaid pajamas eating expired 1970s cereals. He's vintage and he knows charm. Today we talk about the Fuji XH2s and the hidden potential, the backbones, the secret stuff that is not on the spec sheet, but usability. We will discover it in time.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
Alright, here's the deal. We talk about Fuji XH2s, specs and hidden hopes while watching a Fuji display. Fuji X-T4 100-400 with an ND filter, with proper shutter speed in slow-mo, and a second day we're including in here where I test the Fuji autofocus for wildlife. Some secrets happened. Nothing happened. So as vintage frogs bless our hearts, I was able to capture this footage in no help to the shutter dials. Those only inhibit ya. That might be a fun photography trick where you're playing with the dials, but here's the deal with dials and telephoto. One, the left-hand dial, there's no light back there, don't kid yourself. Okay, here I am, heavy-ass lens. How are you supposed to change this dial? Oh god, breaking the mount, that's how. You could reach over, but come on. Oh, it's so stable. Just don't mind me doing this. And this one, they're not exact, so it's like, okay, I want my 1/20th. Oh, only 1/25. Oh, so I then have to move this. Just let me move them all then with this. So from the pictures, it looks like we don't have those dials. It's just one, and hopefully it's a custom mode dial that you can save separate video and photo dials, like the Canon R5 does. That is perfect. You can save C1 to C3 video sets and then change it to photo C1 to 3. Different, photo-based. So just boom, bam. Flippin'. You know who fails at hybrids hard? The XT4 and the A7S III. In the XT4, when you switch into photo mode, all the custom buttons you had for video are the same. And so they do nothing. That should be completely separate. So separate custom modes, separate function buttons. Thank you. In Sony, it's even worse maybe. If you're in video mode, you switch to photo mode. Some settings are shared, some are different. I want to punch it. We're moving on. When ducks walk in the woods, you might notice that your IBIS is smooth. Oh, no, it's not, is it? It's jerky. It has jerky moments, and that annoys me. Everything's going, oh, God. It's so well, and then it's not. I have a feeling that just lens stable alone wouldn't have that catching up problem. So hopefully in the XH2s we can separate them if we want. Either the IBIS and lens working amazingly well together and then we don't need to separate them, or let me turn one off and the other on. Right now it's either both on or both off. That doesn't fly on my watch. Olympus can turn them off one at a time. Let us do that. Are you seeing a difference though? Now that we're at a proper shutter speed, the movements, they're so much more natural. I think I see it. I see a difference. If you want to get the worst possible footage in your wildlife extravaganzas, film at 24p and just let your shutter ride up to 4,000, 8,000, whatever you got. It's just jerky, terrible, terrible footage. I'm not gonna throw you under a bus because you deserve to be under a truck. They're both heavy. But it was Sony A1 footage with the 200-600, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen. Even though it was sharp and nice, the movements, the juddery movements, they weren't flowing like a cardinal might going to his grandfather's house. Ah, yeah. So hopefully this XH2s IBIS is amazing, or we can turn it off. Either one I'm fine with. When it comes to the XH2s versus the Sony A7 IV, that's going to be a debate coming. Here's the deal with that already. Even though I've never tested either, I already know Sony has the polish, the autofocus smoothness. Nothing ever goes wrong except the color science, as we're witnessing right now. Fuji XH2, on the other hand, is going to beat the specs. 4K 120p for 60 in a crop. Will it be uncropped? We don't know. 240 frames in HD? Maybe more. Wow. The Fuji will have the cinema on her side, and it should be superior in every way except full frame goodness, which basically trumps everything that Fuji could do. Full frame magic and polish. So, I don't know. I'd wait for the A7 IV. The biggest elephant in the room, not that Fuji could focus on one, is the autofocus and its reliability. So I took it out and things happened. There were moments like, okay, these little ants, it could be a fun scene. You don't know that this isn't good content. And it was tracking them pretty good. I had the box, so it's like, okay, just keep them in the box and things are good. Okay, it's working. Don't go in front of that twig. Oh, he did. Okay, there's no way to recover that. You can't change the size of the box while recording, so that's a deal breaker. You're screwed now for the shot. The whole thing's out. So I tried just area mode and just hope that Fuji could recognize the animal, and so far, like, it was doing it. I was like, yeah, you're on the ducks. That's what I want. Fuji's pretty good at recognizing animals sometimes. So I have a feeling with this X-H2s, here they are. I was like, what are you doing? Oh, which one do I keep in the frame? And Fuji lost them during that magical moment. That's why autofocus sucks. In general, Sony would never have done that to me. Here's a magical focus pull to the log. No, the log behind. The log behind, and then this one, which is what we all wanted, and then back to the ducks. That was great. Good decisions there. I'm on your side. So hopefully Fuji has some really good animal eye detect, because really it doesn't do it very often. Like, this is focused on the tree, woodpecker's out. The frog, it got the frog. I was like, okay, did something happen in the magic background? The fish freaked out or something? Frog doesn't even move. It's like, whatever, it's just a fish, relax. We all got time, don't worry about it. There were definitely moments where it would latch onto the eye and do what I wanted it to do. So, like, it was usable. There were just also many other moments where it would lose it, and it's just like, oh, these shifts. And it's like, come on, just keep it. No, stop it. Fuji, why do you do it to me? Sure, it's a challenging scene, he's camouflaged, but that shot was ruined by Fuji terrible unpolishedness. Here's a female red-winged blackbird. You know how I know it's a female?
She's waiting for my love. She's waiting for my love. She's waiting.
And that's how Jesus was born. All right, last little sequence on the autofocus, and then we move on. This was the impossible scene. Bird behind branches, there's no reason Fuji should detect this, but all of a sudden, it's like, that bird, you want that bird in? I got you. And then it starts tracking it. I'm like, really? You're gonna latch onto that bird in a swamp? It was perfect. It nailed it. It went behind a bunch of shit. Fuji kept on it, went behind that log, still going. Well done, Fuji. In 240 frames, so there was some potential there. Because that's the one thing I'm missing. Fuji, I love the look. I love the stability when I'm not moving. When I move, bad things happen to good people, but when I'm stable, cool. I would like to be able to do stuff like that though. Getting a bird, following it around. It's like, wow. So hopefully not only is this animal eye detect really reliable in video and in all modes, if it doesn't work in 4K 120p, then just throw the whole camera in the trash where it belongs. It better work in HD 480 frames too, that better be in there. So it should work in all modes, be very reliable, and there should be modes that are easier to switch. Right now, all I can do is make this tiny box into a really small box. That's it. There's no, like, use the whole frame. I have to switch into the menu dive. So like there's problems here. Fuji needs to rework their usability. And like in Sony, I press one button and I go from wide to zone to a little spot, flexible spot thing with a cross where we saw Jesus was born today. Easy, one button presses. Whereas Fuji, I have to press the dial, then move a dial to get a certain sized box, and then if I want the whole thing, dive into the menu. That's a problem. And right now there's many things that I wish I could put to my menu that I can't on Fuji. It won't let me put it there. And so you're diving deep into sections. You need a complete menu overhaul. Hopefully something better is on its way. I would take old Sony menus over whatever we got now. Help. When it comes to 6K, in my opinion, if it's not 6K 60p, it's useless to me. You could do like, what are you gonna do? A talking head video? You don't need 6K for that. You're gonna get a bunch of these YouTubers on their gimbals with their girlfriend in the forest. Oh my God, 6K. Look, she's looking back at me, telling me that she's leaving me forever. Oh no. I thought I'm making you a star, hun. You're the star. No one cares. So 6K 60p if you have it. With a crop, I don't mind. How could you even do that with the megapixels? I don't know math. If it's possible, do it. 4K 120p, if it has the autofocus, that's a very nice spec. I like to have it. HD, when it comes to the 240 frames per second, which is definitely in there, if that looks better than the X-T4's 240p, I'll be pretty happy. I want 480. I would take 300. But just improve whatever that is. Because right now it looks like 480p with line skip moire. It's bad news. But I still like it because it's magic. The slower the better. And it would be nice to have some like pre-recording burst type of thing. Where I'm recording and then I can end the recording when something amazing happens. There's many times where I'm like recording this 240 frames per second, waiting for a bird to fly, and it doesn't. I got like 8 minutes of footage, like, okay, that was a waste. Be nice to have a little burst end. It's like, oh, he's flying, boom. End it. I got all that, last 8 seconds. Fantastic. Do it. Or some high-res modes with the IBIS moves. 4 pictures, boom. But super fast, so fast that it's usable. To freeze motion. No artifacts, wind doesn't affect it. Wind helps it. The windier it is, the better the leaves look. Do that. And we need basic things like shutter angle in there. I noticed the difference when I wanted to abide by that law. Switching from 4K 60 to HD 120, it's like, oh yeah, I gotta change the shutter dial now. Oh, it's not exact, boom, and a dial switch. So shutter angle would do that automatically. I'd take it to the bank. I didn't know red-winged blackbirds were see-through, Fuji, but they have proved it. They are that. Wow, that's amazing. I'm glad it didn't focus on it. This would have been such a cool shot, the red-winged blackbird about to take off. I didn't know he was gonna fly right by my head. He turned at the last second. He came right for me. I don't know what autofocus mode I was in. User error because I didn't keep him even close to in center, but that happened very fast. It was really fast. It was 240 frames per second. It's like, why isn't he following the bird properly? It was like a split second death dive at my face. So I'm hoping Fuji really pulls out everything. This is the new flagship for the cinematic soccer journey of our lives. Yes, this is cinematic, by the way. It's a soccer ball in a lake. It came out of nowhere. The lake gave birth to it. Even though it's a creek, it's not a lake. There's a stick near it too. But Fuji has something special, just the look to it, the colors, and I do believe that X-Trans sensor is their secret weapon. If only they went full frame with an X-Trans. Oh man, I wish Sony would do an X-Trans sensor. I don't mind that. So we'll see. Right now I'm waiting for the full spec release. Probably by the time I release this video, we know much more, and this is already irrelevant. But that should be exciting. X-H2, and then I will start debating. Is that worth upgrading to from that, or do we need to head to full frame territory? Sony 200 to 600, A1 maybe? $15,000 later? R5 good enough? 100, 500? Or Z9? Welcome to Nikon. Maybe. AK60 already beats this thing. So, thank you for shopping around today in the Amazon shop provided to you. There's items in there. You could buy them. Or just laundry soap after you look at them. I get a cut. I don't mind those cuts. How you doing? Camera Conspiracies shirt? They're available. So is the subscribe button. Who would ever subscribe after that?